Hi, I'm John Mayfield, the Real Estate Tech Guy, with another Global Real Estate School podcast. Welcome to the podcast. I'm John Mayfield, the Real Estate Tech Guy, and this is episode 020, our 20th episode, and we're having a great time talking about real estate definitions, or at least I'm having a great time. I hope you are as well. And if you're preparing for the real estate exam, you've come to the right podcast, because we want to give you information that will help you pass your real estate exam on the first attempt. So be sure and sign up for our podcast. Give us a 5-star review. We would appreciate any kind of comments that you have. Well, we've been talking about agency, and on our last podcast, we talked about loyalty. Actually, kind of threw a little bit of disclosure in there as well. But remember, when you enter into an agency relationship, whether it's through a listing agreement, a buyer's agency agreement, even working as a property manager for a landlord, or if you're working with tenants trying to help them, and you enter into an agency agreement with a tenant, you have some fiduciary obligations. And we remember the acronym COLD, C-O-A-L-D, for care, obedience, accounting, loyalty, and disclosure. Now, today I want to talk about care. You have to use due care when working as an agent for the principal or your client. Let's kind of look at that in relationship for an agent who is listing a property for sale for a seller. What are some obligations that fall within that care of the fiduciary obligation? And of course, it would require you to use due care in taking photographs, researching information at the courthouse, doing a proper comparative market analysis so that you are pricing the property correctly. Care would encompass writing the ad copy, preparing the information for the multiple listing service. In fact, think about this. Sometimes you may get a listing in the summertime when the grass is green and there are leaves on the trees, but then fall comes along very quickly, or even winter, and perhaps you still have that property listed. Well, you need to use due care in making sure those photographs are updated and changed out, so that if someone's looking at properties through the internet in the middle of winter and there's snow on the ground, and you have this picture of a home with green leaves and grass on the ground, it's probably not going to help the sellers in marketing their property to potential buyers. It's going to look like day-old bread or stale bread. And so you have a lot of responsibilities when we start looking at that word care. And it even falls over or follows over if you're representing a buyer. Doing the price evaluation for buyers is very important. If they're purchasing property that's out in the country, and in Missouri, if it's less than 3 acres, there's a lot of regulations for septic systems. So are you encouraging that your buyers get the proper inspections, that there's a radon gas inspection? There is so much when we look at that word care that you owe to your client under those fiduciary obligations. So don't forget, when you enter into an agency relationship, an agency agreement with a client, think about that word care and make sure that you provide the right care to your client. Thank you for listening to the podcast for Global Real Estate School. I'm John Mayfield, the Real Estate Tech Guy. Go out and make it a great day.